I love Minecraft Resin. They make blocks that instamine, making them excellent scaffolding. They can make resin bricks, which are an awesome colour to expand your building palette. There's just one thing. You've got to go to the Pale Garden to get them at night. And these scary horribles that don't take damage and chase you when you look away are the only way to get it. So why risk it? Let's make a farm. You are going to need to come and get some pale oak logs though from the Pale Garden, and also harvest some resin directly from the Creaking Heart. This farm is designed to fit into a single chunk and still give you really great yields. The primary mechanics for this farm are inspired by my good friend Resin, so go check him out if you haven't already. I've adapted it to fit with this one chunk farm series I'm creating. The link to the playlist is in the description. Let's crack on. The things you need for this farm are right here. Pause the video, take a screenshot, whatever works for you. That sword has sweeping edge to maximize yield, but it's optional. Collect your resources and let's get building. So this is the chunk that we're going to be building in. The rule is nothing is allowed to be built outside this chunk. Nothing poking out over the walls. Now select one of the corners. It doesn't matter which one. Mark it because you need to remember which one you've used. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 along one side, and then including this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and on the 8th one, place a block. We're now going to tower up with temporary blocks, 9, including this first one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. You're then going to get your chest, and facing the same direction you just were, place a chest. So the front of your chest should be facing the side that's got your corner. And then on the side, moving away from that corner, place another chest. So you've got a double chest, and then stand on that overhanging part and shift click a hopper into the back of that chest. Then get your stone bricks or whatever block it is you're using, and out of the back of this hopper, pressing shift, press 1 and then 2, 3, 4, and 5. And on this end block, with your back to the chest, you are going to place a temporary block, and to the right you're going to place 7 blocks, and to the left you're going to place 8 blocks. And that takes you to the edge of the chunk on both sides. You can see the sand is falling onto the outer side of that chunk. That's outside the chunk we're working on. Now remove that temporary block and build yourself a floor area that goes up to and including level with that hopper. So it looks like that. Then come to the end opposite the chest and place a block there, there, and there. And at each end, you want to place a wall, just 1 block high, that end and that end. And then coming out beyond the platform that you've made, build a wall that goes across and over these 3 blocks that you just placed all the way to the other side. Now come to your open side, and we're going to extend this platform 1 more block in this direction up to, but not including over that chest. And then you're going to bring that wall up to and over it, and then on this side you're going to do the same. You're going to bring a level up to but not including that chest, and then extend the wall all the way to there. You're then going to get yourself a slab, and on the top part of that, not the bottom, you're going to place a slab there, and then place a block on top of it. So far you should have something that looks just like this. You're then going to stand on the wall where you have your chest, and you're going to come to the corner that's just by the corner that you've marked, and you're going to, on the lower level, place a block, and you're going to create a 7 by 7 square, including this one. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then you're going to come 7 in this direction as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and you're going to fill in this square. Just like last time, you'll see that this square still is inside our perimeter. And we're then going to place a wall along this end and a wall along this side. You're going to leave this end open. Come to your open end, and looking at your chest, you're going to place the bottom part of your chest against a slab. So it's a bottom slab. You're going to come across 6, 3, 4, 5, and 6, just like that. Jump down onto it and then place another 6 next to it. So you've got 2 rows of 6, and then just finally place a 3rd row of 6 across. So you've got a platform that you can play around on. You're then going to place yourself a furnace and a crafting table on here. Place your crafting table against the wall just there, and your furnace using shift against the crafting table. At this point, if you've made a sword specifically for this farm, put an item frame right next to the crafting table there, and the sword right in that item frame, ready for when you come to bash stuff. Because this farm requires you to bash stuff personally. Then place a slab at the bottom of the end here, just by the chest, so that'll allow you to jump up onto that and back up onto that platform. You can mine out that slab, you don't need it anymore. We're going to place some slabs down now, so using shift, place a slab on top of the furnace, on top of the crafting table, and then all the way around your walls of this 7x7 square, and then all the way around this wall, the side wall, and the side wall. We'll worry about the back wall in just a moment. So it now should look like that. Come to your larger platform. We're going to place some temporary blocks. Come to the channel down the middle first and place a temporary block there and a temporary block there. Remove that first temporary block so it doesn't become confusing. Then leave a gap and a temporary block, a gap and a temporary block. You should have two to the side. Then come the other side, a gap, then a temporary block, a gap, then a temporary block, a gap, then a temporary block. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 temporary blocks with a 1 gap on this side and a 2 gap on this side. The 2 gap is on the side with your 7x7 platform. Then come to your back wall, and wherever you've got a temporary block, place a repeater facing towards that block. So I'm facing the block, jump and place a repeater. I'm going to do that on all 6. Then using shift so as I don't change the repeater, I'm going to place a sticky piston. It's really important that it is a sticky piston on the front of each of these repeaters. And I'm then going to come to this back wall, and I'm going to use my shift button so I don't fall off the end, and I'm going to place an observer next to that first piston. So the redstone bum is facing backwards, and you can see the redstone face next to that green splat of the sticky piston. And I'm going to make sure I've got an observer between all of these pistons. That means I'm placing 7 observers in total. I'm then going to place a block on the redstone bum of each of these observers. So you can see the redstone bum there, block goes on it, come across, redstone bum there, block goes on it. If you look with the sand here, we've got 1 more row of space to be able to build, which is just as well. On this block that's coming out of that observer's bum, we're going to place a block at the bottom, and we're going to create a row of blocks all the way along, right up to the last observer, all the way over here, right there. And once that row's there, we're going to place a block behind each of these repeaters. And we're then going to get our 7 redstone dust, and we're going to place it on the gaps between the blocks that are behind the repeaters. So your redstone should look like that. You've got repeaters going into the pistons, observers shooting backwards into these blocks with redstone dust between each one. That means any block change on the face of those observers is going to fire the pistons, and that is where we're going to find our resin growing. The observers are going to see it, and they're going to make the sticky pistons push them off. Climb on top of your observer piston row here and place a pale oak log, and it's really important that it faces upwards so you can see all the rings at the top on each of these temporary blocks that we placed earlier on. We are then going to place a slab on that spare block there, and we're going to place a slab across all of this area right now. We need to make sure that we cannot, under any circumstances, spawn any nasties on this area. So we're going to create ourselves a 3 wide platform all the way across using bottom slabs, even over that redstone, because unfortunately the nasties, they can spawn on top of that, and that's really annoying. So this rear area now is completely creaking proof. Come back down into your tray and remove these temporary blocks. You don't need those anymore, but you do need to place yourself some more temporary blocks just on one side. It doesn't matter which side of your channel, and you're going to place these gates along against those temporary blocks. Then remove the temporary blocks out because you don't need them anymore, and you are going to open these gates again. It doesn't matter which direction. You can go one direction, another direction, both directions. It really doesn't matter. We're then going to come to one side, and we're going to place a water bucket there, and we're going to miss a gap, and we're going to place another water bucket right there. Refill our water bucket from the center, and we're going to create water source blocks all the way across by placing a water, gap, water, refilling, gap, water, refilling, gap, water. That will go all the way over to those fence gates. We're then going to place another water in that corner, leave a gap, water there, replace our water from the center, come across, replace our water, come across, replace our water, come across. So that will go again across to these gates. And then right at this very end, you're going to place a water bucket in that bottom block just past the gate, just in there, and that will run over and including that hopper. You're now going to need to remove any one of these little slabs so you can jump straight back up again and then replace it as soon as you're back on. Make sure you don't fall off the end, because that would just be embarrassing. Maybe I've been embarrassed by that before, I'm not going to say. Now make sure it's not nearly night time when you do this next bit, because you need to finish the rest of the farm before night falls. We're going to place a creaking heart on top of each of these logs like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're then going to get the log that we've got left and we're going to place it on top of the creaking heart. That is going to activate that creaking heart. You can see it's changed it, so you've got that resiny colour on it. That means that can now spawn in a creaking. So you don't want it to be nighttime, because the creakings, well, frankly, they're not your mate. They don't want to be your mate, they want to eat your face. So once we've done that, we're going to get ourselves our fence. We're going to place a fence between each of these. There, 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 and there. And then we're going to get a button, and we're going to place buttons on all of the other faces of this top piece of wood. We don't want there to be any spawnage of any resin on these parts of the logs. We only want it on the bottom part of the log. On this one, you only have to do the front, back, and the top. And then when you get across to the other end of this one, you do the front, the back, the top, and again the side. And that makes sure that the resin only spawns on the bottom logs. So you should have something that looks just like that. We are nearly done. Come to the edge of your platform here, and you're going to place a slab across all the way, except for the last bit, because you need to be able to get through all the way to there. That is going to protect you from the creakings, because that platform behind me is the only place that a creaking can now spawn. However, that platform is also spawnable at night time to other mobs, and we don't want that. So right here, place yourself a fence, and then on the bottom of it, place yourself a lantern. That lantern will then light up that area so only creakings can spawn on it, because creakings don't need a light level of 0 to be able to spawn. I've come into survival to show that even if you've only got about half hearts, you can drop down and survive that fall. I've placed a trapdoor here already just to show you where you're going to be placing a tower of trapdoors. Where you get your temporary tower here, we're going to be taking that out in a moment. Moving towards the front where you've already got your marked block, you come out 1, 2, and then 1 and 2 again. So it flaps up in that direction. You're then going to place a tower of trapdoors so you get a flap up in that direction. You can do that by using, again, another temporary block tower and shift clicking on top of all of those trapdoors. You should have 9 trapdoors going up to the underside of your platform. And on the face of those trapdoors, using shift click, you are going to place a ladder. And you can also climb the ladder and place as you go up, and that will allow you to go up onto the platform and then back down to the ground without dying. Now, you're going to be AFKing at night time, so you can, if you wish, place yourself a roof across this AFK platform, and that will make sure that the phantoms can't get you. And it's at this point, if you want to, you can get rid of your temporary tower of 9 blocks. And there is one more completely optional thing that you can do. You can slightly move the tower you've just deconstructed, and you can come up 4 blocks. Place a chest on the underside of that chest right there, and then come to the side of it and shift click a chest right next to it, and then use a hopper and shift click a hopper right next to that chest. That's going to take anything out of the top chest and pop it into the center chest. Then place a chest there, another chest next to it using shift click, and another hopper going into the side of that chest. And you can tower your chests all the way down so as you can collect your goodies from the bottom, and you don't have to go up to the platform if you don't wish to. And that chest turret can be as long or as short as you want. It can come all the way to the ground if you like. The inventory I gave at the beginning of the video gave an additional 5 double chests worth of room. So if you want more, just add a few more. And we are now ready to start farming our resin. But we've got to wait for night time, and the sun is starting to go down over our farm. It's time to take our position. We're going to come to the bottom, and we're going to climb up our trapdoor ladder right to the top, and we're going to grab our sword. We're ready for it, and now as soon as it gets dark enough, we can start smashing these. And there they are. They've already started to spawn in. It's got dark enough already. They're not moving because I am looking at them. The thing about this is, as soon as you look at these creakings, they stop moving. However, if I move away and turn around like this, they will start to walk towards me. And walking towards me will mean that if I turn around, they're going to be a little bit closer. There's something just a little bit freaky and horrible about that. I'm not quite sure whether I like it or not, but see, now they're close enough. I can start hitting them, and this sweeping edge means that I can get plenty of resin. There is a cool down between each one. You can see these kind of golden orange sparks going away. They're going off right next to the creaking hearts. The creaking hearts are generating resin, and you can see that we've already got some resin flying through. You do sometimes get a little bit of resin pop out there. That's okay, it's no big deal, because you'll collect it as you're bashing anyway. And you just keep hitting them until you're bored. And if you want that resin to stop coming through to you, you can change that bottom slab and you can turn that into a stair, and it will go exclusively into your collection system. But the beauty of having the resin here is you can come into your crafting table and you can start to create yourself some blocks. Or if you wish, you can come into your furnace and you can stick the resin clumps in there, and they'll furnace down into bricks, which you can build other blocks out of. There's a brick coming any second now. As soon as that arrow finishes, bang, there's a resin brick, and you can turn those into different blocks and therefore steps and slabs and all kinds of stuff. So it's completely down to you whether or not you want to be able to collect some yourself and have some of it go into the inventory system, or it all exclusively go into the inventory system. As I say, just switch out that slab for a stair. And if you do, it will look like that. And you can just keep on bashing all night long. And if you wish to, you could bind an auto clicker or your key so you could actually AFK this process. I'm going to keep on bashing for the whole night, and I'm going to see what we get out of it. Once the creaking have completely disintegrated as a result of the sunlight, place your sword down inside your item frame and then go down and see what you've collected. So this is one night's worth of bashing, and I didn't really go for it because I was too busy talking to you. And we've got a whole row of 64 clumps plus an extra clump plus 10. So that is 9. That's 650 resin in one night. That's not too bad for a one chunk farm, right? So there you have a super simple one chunk resin farm that you can build with not that many resources really. And you can totally fill your inventory with those gorgeous resin blocks that's going to add so much to the pallets that you build with. I'm going to be carrying on with these one chunk farms, some of them completely AFK. Let me know the kind of farm that you'd like to know you could do in a single chunk, and I'll add it to the series, and I'll really look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.